first question is, how did everybody get involved with Slashback?
Sure, do cast, yeah.
I actually got involved. So it started out when I was hearing buzz about the other Indigenous feature film, The Grizzlies. And I was really interested in the idea of like the Indigenous cast and like especially like the young teenage Indigenous cast. And I felt like I wanted that sense, you know, like I really felt inspired by that. And so I had mentioned to my mom how I thought it was so cool. And it just happened to be that later that day they were looking for casting calls for Slashback, and they were looking for younger women, for younger Inuit ladies, and I was just like, this is perfect for me. So I went and auditioned, and it was more like they were acting workshops almost like, and I attended a few of those, which is where I met Nyla, and also a few of the other co-stars. Alexis and Nala Joss were also there. And so after a few of those, I was told that I I got the part as Maika. So I was that's really just how I became introduced.
Although actually, I think I gave you a different part first.
Yeah, so I was initially the part as Uri, who Nala Joss plays. But there was a few last minute rearrangements, and I was actually put as Maika, and then we had Nala Joss as Uri, which was it was a really like good decision on Nyla's part, and I think it worked out perfectly. But that's what I was initially cast. So I had memorized all of Uki's lines. They had my costume in my sizes, but I think it ended up working out very well as Maika for me.
So how I got casted is my dad had seen on Facebook that there was an audition for a movie in Pang, and I wasn't really interested. I told him I wasn't interested, but he pressured me. He really wanted me to go, and I'm like, okay, I'll go just to make you happy. So I went. I met with Nyla and a few other cast members, and I thought they were pretty cool. And I auditioned, and turns out I got the part. So I'm pretty happy that happened.
And Nyla, how did this story all come about for you, with it being with the indigenous people and the science fiction and horror element in Slashback? How did this story kind of unfold from your perspective, and how important was it to you to really tell this story this way?
Thank you. Well, I have been obsessed with movies, and specifically horror and genre, all my life, since I was a kid. And then when I was the same age as these actors, I was making movies with my friends and getting my cousins to dress up as ghosts and get all bloody. So I loved movies like E.T. and The Goonies and Jaws and these kids adventure movies. And certainly growing up in the Arctic, I had adventures with my friends and my brothers. And so the idea of getting to make a movie that felt like the ones that I loved growing up, but also in this place that I loved, was something that was really important to me. The community of Pang is really special to me. It's where my nephews are from, and they're 5 and 7 years old. So the idea that they could have an alien invasion movie set in their hometown was an added bonus for me.
Right. And so with the budget, how was it like for you coming up with the ideas? Because of course it's a small budget, so you have to think outside the box a lot in the process. So how did that process all come about with the cast and being like, okay, this is what we have to spend on these visual effects and all this department? How did that go while filming Slashback as well?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. And for me, it was my first film. So I mean, I think that if maybe I had known what I was getting into, I would have made the script a little less ambitious and bonkers for a first movie. It was like a million lessons a day that we were all learning in the process of making this. And so I'm so grateful that I had the chance to be learning all of these lessons in the first feature. The second script I've got is so much simpler than Slashback. It's crazy, but it was really fun, I think, to do something that really took a lot of creativity to figure out. We had lots of practical effects and cool things that actually made it added some challenge to every scene, but then it also made it a little bit more fun. So yeah, it was definitely a crazy undertaking for us, and figuring out how to make it work in this community that was really expensive to get to. We had to have the community totally come on board in order for us to make it. The principals at the high school and the grade school let us move in for the summer. So our cast and crew lived in the schools. We shipped up 60 beds and mattresses and turned up all of the classrooms into bedrooms with 2 people per classroom. And this is 24-hour sunlight in a school with big windows.
Right.
So we had to block out all the light on the windows. And so it was a crazy, and all of our meals were served in the high school gym, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There's no restaurants in town. It was a really crazy ask of my crew, but then you get these amazing people that are up for an adventure like that. And so it all worked out, but it was definitely a challenge.
And for you, right. And for you two, how was it like living there basically all that time while filming Slashback as well? Did you guys have any fond memories of living with each other throughout the filming process as well?
Yeah, so it was really exciting to so the cast were living in the grade school while the crew was living in the high school. So it was really fun to all be together. We were usually inside the gym, like, you know, playing with the little scooters or playing hide and seek in the storage room, or, you know, like watching YouTube videos in the staff room, or just like making short films on iMovie on our phones just around the school. It was really like a child's dream, because like when you go to school, you kind of think of the idea that it would be so cool to live there. And we actually got to, like, you know, live out that dream of, you know, our mattress was in the classroom. So it was really, really fun, and we became like such close friends during that time, especially because we were the only ones really in the community that we knew. We made friends within the community, but it was honestly just so special to be able to live in that school, and it was a whole part of the experience.
And for me, I have a lot of family in the town Pang, so I got to see a lot of family, and it kind of helped me. It kind of helped me a bit more with the movie. I was pretty nervous, but my family was pretty proud of me, so it made me happy, and it was a child's dream living in a school.
You guys are crazy.
I think that would be much more like a nightmare to some people living.
I know.
Oh,
But
wow.
AJ, Tessiana was doing her homework during the screening of Slashback last night. So they like school.
Yeah, no, we didn't have the like authority of the teachers, but we just kind of like, we had the free for all. We could sleep in every classroom, and we could, you know, like write on the whiteboards. It was really fun and edgy for us.
And Nyla, what made you choose this location? I'm sorry if I forgot what you said before, but what was it about Pang specifically that you wanted to accomplish with Slashback?
Yeah, the Arctic is really interesting. We've got our capital city of Iqaluit, but it's very different than some of the other communities. My family is from the community of Iqaluit, which is like Pang, very small, about 1,500 people. So it's a very different kind of way of living than anywhere else, and it's really beautiful. I would have gone to Iqaluit. It's stunning and gorgeous there as well, but very, very flat. It's an island, and I had made a documentary in Pang when I was in college. And it was about this tradition of square dancing that exists in the community. And it was brought over, square dancing was brought over from the whalers in Scotland in the 1800s, because Pang is a whaling community, was a whaling community first. So there's just this tradition of fiddle music and accordion music that exists in Pang, and everybody knows all the square dances. And so I done this little documentary about that and found it so special that this square dancing is considered Inuit tradition in Pang. And then also just fell in love with the physical place. It's this community nestled in these gigantic fjords, these mountains carved by glaciers, that really looks unlike anywhere else. It's so stunning. And then in the summertime, there's 24-hour sunlight. The sun just kind of rises up and circles around for 11 days. And all the kids go out and are exploring. So it's just so special. And then on top of it, I've got my nephews who are from there, and they're the age, that I was when I was watching movies like E.T. And so the idea that they could have a movie that's set in their hometown was something that was really special to me.
Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining me today, and congratulations on Splashback, and have a good rest of your week.